Hari Om. Namaste. Welcome to this week's Yoga Sutra study. Let us do a small prayer. Put Namaskar Mudra. Close your eyes. Relax. Let us chant Omkara 3 times. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Let us pay our respects to Patanjali Maharshi. Repeat after me. Yogena chittasya padena vacha malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarotam pravaram munina Patanjalim pranjalim anatosmi nityam harihi om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha harihi om. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. My pranams to all Atma Jyotis, divine light of the self. We are studying Patanjali Yoga Sutras. We had completed about 5 sutras. Today we will learn about Sutra number 6 and 7. I am a student of Vedanta. I am a seeker myself. I am not a Jnani or a Pandita. I am taking these classes as part of my study. If there are any mistakes, any misunderstandings on my path, I beg your forgiveness. I am doing the best I can to disseminate what I know, to learn and to improve my knowledge. I am conducting these classes. Let me share my screen. Sutra number 6. Sutra number 1.6. Chapter 1, Sutra number 6. So first we will see Avataranika from Vyasa Bhashya. What we are doing here is we are trying to understand the Patanjali Yoga Sutras through the Bhashya by Vyasa, commentary by Vyasa. And the Avataranika means the connection between previous sutra and this sutra. So the Avataranика between Sutra number 5 and 6 is Taha Klishtascha Aklishtascha Panchada Vruttayaha. So what is the meaning of this? The Vruttis, which we know that there are 5 types of Vruttis. They are of 2 kinds, Klishta and Aklishta. Vritti means thought pattern, thought current. A thought is called a Vritti. It is of 5 types, Klishta and Aklishta. We have seen this in previous sutra. With difficulties and without, which cause difficulties in the path of spiritual upliftment and which helps one in the path of spiritual upliftment. 2 types. The vrittis, the mental thought patterns, which will cause difficulties, obstructions in the upliftment of, in the spiritual upliftment, are called klishta vrittis. And the vrittis which help one in the path of spiritual upliftment is called aklishta vritti. The vrittis themselves are of 5 types. Let us see. Sutra number 1.6. Pramana Viparyaya Vikalpa Nidra Smrutayaha. The 5 types of vrittis are Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, and Smrutayaha. These are the 5 types of mental thought patterns. Repeat after me. Let us repeat the Sutra number 1.6 5 times. Repeat after me. Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Smrutayaha. 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 So this is the Sutra number 1.6. Vyasa has not given any explanation on this. He has not given any bhashya. So I'll just give a brief explanation on this. The 5 types of vrittis which are explained in this sutra will be further explained in the coming 5 sutras. Further explain what they mean. Why do we need to know the types of vrittis, types of mental thought patterns? That is to gain mastery over chitta. Chitta means mind. And we should be able to do nirodha, eliminate these vrittis and gain yoga. If you remember, yoga is chitta vritti nirodha, means eliminating a removal of mental thought patterns is called yoga. These 5 vrittis, if they cause karma, bondage, attachment to the world, then they are called klishta vrittis. The same 5 vrittis, if they cause viveka khyati, means the discernment, the discrimination between Purusha and Prakriti, Purusha and mind, matter and spirit. If you know the difference between spirit and the matter, that knowledge is called Viveka Khyati. And the vrittis, if they cause Viveka Khyati and help in liberation, in spiritual upliftment, breaking the bondage, breaking the attachment to the world, then they are called Aklishta vrittis. This is about Sutra number 1.6. Any questions on Sutra number 1.6? Okay. So we will move on to Sutra number 1.7. Sutra number 1.7. First, he is explaining what are the if you see Sutra number 1.6, the first vritti is pramana. So he is explaining the pramana in this sutra. So what is this sutra? Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agamaha, Pramanani. Pramana is of three types. First vritti is pramana, and pramana itself is of three types. It is of Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Agama. What is a pramana? Pramana is through which you know. What are the tools you know? The ability through which you gain knowledge is called pramana. So three types of pramana are there: Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agamaha. And what is Pratyaksha? Direct perception through sense organs. You see, you hear, you taste, you touch, you smell. This is the direct perception. This direct perception through the sense organs is called Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means direct perception. Anumana means inferential knowledge. How do you know inferential knowledge? Based on some proof, circumstantial evidence, you will come to some conclusion. This is called Anumana, inferential knowledge. And then there is Agama, which is scriptural knowledge. Agama is scriptural knowledge. So what are the three types of pramana? Pramana means proof, proof of knowledge. I mean, how do you know a knowledge is verified and correct? How do you know knowledge has been gained? You gain knowledge through direct perception, through inference, and through scriptural knowledge. So let us repeat this sutra 5 times. Repeat after me. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agamaha, Pramanani. 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 Okay. So this is Sutra number 1.7. So what Sri Vyasa has to say about this, let us see. Commentary by Vyasa, Vyasa Bhashya is, he has explained in these verses. I will read these verses. You don't have to repeat after me. You just listen. Indriya pranalikaya chittasya bahya vastuparaga tad vishaya samanya visheshatmano ardhasya visheshavadharana pradhana vrittihi pratyaksham pramanam phalam vishishtaha paurusheyas chitta vritti bodhaha pratisamvedi purusha ityuparishtat upapada vishayamyaha anumeyasya tulya jati yeshvanuvritto vinna jatiyebhyo vyavrutaha sambandho yastad vishaya samanya avadharana pradhana vrittiranumānam yada deshantara prapter gatimat chandra tararkam chaitravat vindyascha prapti ragatihi aptena drushto anumito vartaha paratra svabodha sankrantaye shabdenopadishyate shabdat tadadda vishaya vrittihi shrotru agamaha yasya shraddheyardo vakta na drushtanumitardaha sa agama plavate mola vaktaritu drushtanumitardhe nirviplavaha syat. So what this means, we are going to see the meaning in English. Vyasa Bhashya in English. Pratyaksha Pramanam is explaining in the first part. Through the doors of sense perceptions, by the contact of the mind, which is chittam, with the objects of the world, the vrittis, which determine the special characteristics of the object. Even though there are general characteristics, those vrittis are called pratyaksha pramana, direct perception through sensory perception. For example, what happens is there is an object, there is two different objects. Now, every object has general characteristics and special characteristics. I'm going to give an example later to explain this further. So, pratyaksha is paying attention to the special characteristics of an object, not to the general characteristics. So, that is called pratyaksha pramana. Now, Purusha is in contact with mind, chittam, and enjoys our experiences, what is going on in the mind. Purusha is also called Prama. Prama means knower, you can think of it like that. Or the one for who the Pramana is for. Pramana means the knowledge of the object. The knowledge of the object is not just for itself, it is meant for the Prama, which is the knower, the Purusha, which is nothing but you. You know something. So the knowledge is for the sake of Purusha, for the sake of Prama. The fruit of a Pramana is the Purusha. What does that mean? It means that Purusha is the one for who the fruit of a Pramana is intended for. The knowledge is intended for the person who knows the knowledge. That is what it means. It is the Purusha, the spirit, that enjoys the Pratyaksha Pramana. It will be explained in future sutras. So, the Purusha, the spirit, is the one who is the experiencer, not the body, mind, and intellect. Body, mind, and intellect are Prakriti, nature, matter. The Purusha or the sentient being, the spirit, is the one which enjoys what is presented before it in the form of Pramana. Here we are talking about Pratyaksha Pramana, and whatever is presented before it, the Pratyaksha Pramana, the Purusha experiences. Enjoys means not in the sense of enjoyment, but in the sense of experiencing. Experiences the Pratyaksha Pramana. What is Anumana Pramana? There will be general characteristics and special characteristics for the objects. Therefore, the thoughts which gain knowledge about objects through general characteristics is called Anumana Pramana. I am going to give an example. Example is, in the sky there is moon and the stars. Moon and the stars also move. Similarly, similar to a person named Chaitra also moves. Chaitra moves. Similarly, the moon and the stars also move. Whereas the mountain Vindhya does not move like the person. So, as the person moves, the moon and the stars are also moving. Moon and stars are moving. How do you know? Because the person is also moving. So, this is Anumana Pramana, inferential knowledge. Agama Pramana. A Jnani means a person with wisdom and correct knowledge about something obtained through perfect Pratyaksha and Anumana. Instructs other people through speech or verbal testimony about that knowledge, then it is called Aptavakya, the sentence of a well-wisher. A person who has a correct Pratyaksha and Anumana tells about that to another person, that sentence is called Aptavakya. And on hearing to those Aptavakyas, the thought patterns which are generated in the listener on hearing an Aptavakya is called Agama Pramana. What this means is, you are sure about your jnani is sure about what he is talking about. He talks with conviction. That conviction gives a convincing thought pattern in the listener. That vritti which is convinced, which has a conviction, is strong, and the listener also has a strong conviction, convincing thought pattern, and he believes it. He has a faith. That is called, on hearing the Aptavakya, he actually thinks that this is as per reason and as very convincing. So that is called Agama Pramana. Similarly, if a person does not have pratyaksha or anumana knowledge of an object, that means that person himself is not knowledgeable. He does not have a direct perception, nor he has an inferential knowledge. His words are not called Aptavakya. And on hearing his words, the vrittis that are generated in the listener are not fit to be called Agama Pramana. So, the words of a Jnani Purusha, of a wise person, who has direct knowledge, pratyaksha, and inferential knowledge about a topic or subject, such words are considered fit to be called Aptavakya, and the vrittis produced in the listener upon listening to the Jnani's words are fit to be called Agama Pramana. So, up to here, Vyasa Bhashya is completed. Further explanation is same thing we are repeating again. Pratyaksha Pramana, special characteristics determine the knowledge. For example, there is a lamp post. There is a lamp post and a man. Both of them look similar from a distance. You don't know what is lamp post and what is a man. Both look lean and tall. Both have height and width. And so you know both look similar. But if you go closer, on closer observation, you see that lamp post has a lamp and a man has a head, 2 hands, 2 legs. This is a special characteristic of the man, and lamp has a lamp, which is a special characteristic of the lamp. So on closer observation, on the observation of the special characteristics, you determine that a man is a man, a lamp post is a lamp post. This is called direct perception or pratyaksha pramana. In the Gautama's Nyaya Sutra 1.1.4, he has given a definition of pratyaksha. It is the knowledge that is generated from direct sensory perception and which is free of illusion, which cannot be explained in words, and which is deterministic, is called pratyaksha. This is the definition of Gautama's Nyaya Sutra. So it should be free of illusion. You should not have illusion. Okay. So Chittam, mind is jada. Jada means insentient. Jada padartha. It does not have spirit. It is not the final enjoyer or experiencer. It is the Purusha, which is the spirit, who is the experiencer of the content of the Chittam, of the mind. Therefore, the phalam, the fruit of pramana, is intended for Purusha, you, or the also called Prama. As per yoga philosophy, Purusha is the experiencer of the vrittis of Chittam. Purusha is the experiencer. Purusha is not Nishkriya, which is as told in the Advaita philosophy. The closest to Purusha in Advaita philosophy is Atma. In Advaita philosophy, Atma is Nishkriya. That means it is not the enjoyer of the fruits of the vrittis of mind. So it has no contact. So whereas in yoga philosophy, you are one Purusha, I am one Purusha. I experience what is there in my mind. If my mind is sad, I experience sadness. Like that, it happens. Whereas in Advaita philosophy, Atma is witness, Sakshi. It does not undergo the experiences of the vrittis of Chitta. Therefore, in yoga philosophy, Purusha is said to be going through various experiences, including bondage and liberation. Whereas in Advaita philosophy, Atma is ever free. It was never in bondage. There is no question of bondage or liberation for Atma. Anumana Pramana example, a person Chaitra can move. Similarly, moon and stars also move. When Chaitra moves, he sees moon and stars also moving. Therefore, he inferences that moon and stars are also moving along with him. Whereas he sees a mountain, Vindhya, it does not move. If he walks for a few kilometers, Vindhya does not move. He knows that Vindhya does not move. With this inferential knowledge, he will understand that mountain cannot move, moon and stars can move. So with that, he can conclude his inference. Another example of inferential knowledge is, in the kitchen, I saw fire and smoke. There was fire and there was smoke. And later, I saw smoke on the mountain from very distance. I did not see fire in the mountain, but I infer that there must be fire on the mountain. Why there must be fire on the mountain? Because I see smoke on the mountain. And wherever there is smoke, there must be fire. This is the inferential knowledge. Why that rule that if there is smoke, there must be fire? Because previously I have seen in my kitchen that when there is a fire, there will be smoke. Therefore, if there is smoke, there must be fire. This is the inferential knowledge, and this is called Anumana Pramana. What is Agama Pramana? A Jnani who is scholar, follower of Dharma, well-wisher, truthful, who has conquered the 6 enemies, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, knower of self or Atma, who has understood something based on his or her Pratyaksha or Anumana. If he or she instructs a person to uplift that person spiritually, then that instruction is called Aptabhakya. Sentence of is called Aptabhakya, and the vritti generated in the listener is called Agama Pramana. The knowledge of scriptures, Veda Pramana, Shabda Pramana. It's called Shabda Pramana, Agama Pramana, as per Maharshi Dayananda Saraswati. Further explanation, the correct knowledge gained by Pratyaksha and Anumana is called Apti. A person who has Apti is called Apta. The words of such person is called Aptabhakya. A Rishi, an Arya or a Mlecha, whoever has Apti is called an Apta as per Rishi Vatsayana. So you can consider all modern scientists fall under category called Apta because they rigorously verify, validate, they see everything under microscope and telescope, and they have Pratyaksha Pramana, and they also follow Anumana Pramana. Only when they have a correct logically explained Anumana Pramana and a Pratyaksha Pramana, direct perception, the scientist will say something that this may be so. So therefore, what they say, scientists, what they say is Apti, and we should consider that as Aptabhakya. Please consider this. Have scientific temperament. Don't believe anything just because it was told in the as per tradition and customs. Always have scientific temperament. This is as per yoga philosophy. There are typically 8 types of pramana. We have seen only 3 types so far. The 8 types which are there, more may be there, but 8 types are Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agama, Upamana, Aitihya, Ardhapatti, Sambhava and Asambhava. What these are is beyond the scope of this talk, but all these resolve into the first 3 categories we talked about in one way or the other. Yoga philosophy does not want to go in detail about means of knowledge. It just touches upon that the 3 is sufficient, Pratyaksha, Anumana and Agama, and it moves forward. So that's all about the pramana. Okay. So you have any questions?
No questions.
So let us do a little bit of meditation. Close your eyes, sit comfortably, relaxedly. Just contemplate on what we have studied so far. Make it your own knowledge. Ruminate on what you have heard. Replay in your mind. Now sit silently. Observe your mind. Thoughts rise and fall. Thoughts come and go. Keep on observing. Non-judgmentally observe your mind. If a thought comes, observe it. Know that that thought is there in your mind. Don't judge. Don't say this is a good thought or a bad thought. A thought is a thought, neither good nor bad. Just know what is going on in your mind. Let the thought come and go. Don't hold on to any thought. Don't generate any thought. Don't follow any thought. Let the thoughts rise and fall. stop the practice. Any questions on this meditation? Okay. So let us close the session. Put Namaskar Mudra. Close your eyes. Repeat after me. Asato ma satgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you very much. See you next weekend.
Thank you.